Hello, everyone, and welcome back to GodSaw's Turnbuckle. And it is time for predictions. A little bit late, but better late than never, I guess, in this particular case. We will be doing predictions for tomorrow's AEW All In. It is going to be, well, pretty much one of the largest wrestling shows out there, if not the largest wrestling show in the terms of attendance. And it will be done, of course, in London's Wembley Stadium. And let's get right on into it. Usually, something I don't do is really go through pre-show matches, but well, guess what? We actually have a pretty big match that could be leading into something later on into the pay-per-view to begin with. Actually, we have two matches on the show, but we'll go ahead and start with the big one, which is going to be Aussie Open going up against MJF and Adam Cole for the Ring of Honor tag team titles. This is pretty much come off of what they've been doing with MJF and Adam Cole this entire time. They've been teaming up. They've also set up for the main event in the night between the two of them, being for the World Heavyweight title. And it's going to be an interesting aspect of how it's going to play out in this show and where they go with this. I've been kind of toiling back and forth with whatever they're going with. Is like, and can I actually really say for certain what they're really going with or what the actual outcome would be? Probably not. This is not one of those things where this is not one of those storylines where it's like it's kind of cut and dry what they're doing. I have my own particular theories on what they're doing in this one. But when it comes to the Ring of Honor tag team titles, I think it's going to start off the night with something that's going to lead into the pay-per-view main event itself. And oddly enough, I feel like the way that they were going to go. Initially, I thought it was going to be, the Aussie Open's just going to keep the tag team titles. But I think they're going to go the other route here. And I think they're going to put those tag titles on MJF and Adam Cole. And it's still going to lead into something into the actual main event of the show, but it's going to be really hard to say whether or not they're going to go like somebody's going to be turning heel, somebody's going to be turning babyface, or both of them going to turn heel, or both going to turn babyface. It's hard to really say where they actually go with this. But I'm going to go with MJF and Adam Cole taking those tag team titles. Up next is going to be Jack Perry going up against Hook, and it is going to be for the FTW Championship. And, well, I don't really think there's much to say too much on this. They've been doing this whole thing where Jack Perry's been wanting to retire the FTW title, and now Hook is back after losing the title and is now going after Jack Perry once again. And in the terms of running with everything here, I don't feel like this is a spot where they're going to have Jack Perry lose this early on into his heel run. So I'm going to actually go with Jack Perry to pick up the victory in this. Hard to really see where they go further here, but I don't see them. I don't see them actually taking that title off of him. In this particular case, it's funny to mention that is because it's supposed to be an unsanctioned championship, but I don't see them taking that title off of him inside of the pre-show on this one. And up next, we're going to be getting ourselves into the main card and everything here. We're going to start off with the coffin match. It's going to be Darby Allin and Sting going up against Swerve Strickland and Christian. It was originally AR Fox, but they actually kicked AR Fox out of the Mogul Embassy this week and replaced AR Fox in this match with Christian. This is an interesting one because I guess it does lead into the All Out match a little bit for next week, where Darby Allin's going to be going up against Luchasaurus for the TNT Championship. So that does play off of that inside of here. This is pretty much, I think, going to be kind of one of those crazy. I feel like we're going to be getting a bunch of like crazy, not necessarily hardcore, but kind of brawls throughout the night. And this is going to definitely be one of those. And we'll get into another one a little bit later. Oddly enough, I am going to go with Swerve Strickland and Christian to win this one. Despite everything that Swerve has done to Nick Wayne and Darby Allin and everything to go along with that, and Sting just coming back, and also the fact that Sting hasn't lost a match in any of these tag matches. I feel like it's almost time for this to happen in some way, shape, or form. And I'm actually going to go with Swerve Strickland and Christian to win this. Where they build Swerve Strickland after this is hard to really say. Maybe this is a way of keeping that feud with Darby going on after All Out. It'll be interesting where they go with it. But it should be a fun match. Honestly, it should be a fun match. And up next, we have the Golden Elite. It is going to be Kota Ibushi, Kenny Omega, and Hangman Adam Page going up against Konosuke Takeshita. It's going to, and he'll be teaming up with Juice Robinson and Jay White, aka I guess Bullet Club Gold, in this one. And a lot of this build. A lot of this build I would say has been on Dynamite, but generally you do see Jay White and Juice Robinson on Collision most of the time, though they have had a lot of build up with this, especially with the Takeshita side of everything as well. The beatdown to Kenny Omega inside of Daly's place, everything to go along with that. I do feel like this is going to be one of those where the baby faces are going to go over in this one. I still see the a one-on-one match with Takeshita and Kenny Omega down the line, but I'm gonna see the faces actually winning this match, so I'm gonna go with the Golden Elite to pick up the victory here. And up next is going to be the House of Black going up against the Acclaimed, and it's going to be for the AEW Trios Championships. We've obviously seen two matches between both of them before, and, well, the House of Black has picked up the victory each time. And it even led to the point of Billy Gunn looking like he was going to retire. But the House of Black, one, continued to attack the Acclaim, and then they also took the boots that Billy left in the ring and decided to destroy them, trying to destroy his legacy to go along with it. So those two things brings back Billy Gunn for one more match for the three of them, and again for the Trios Championships. This time, the Acclaimed, I think, pick up the victory here. I don't really see a particular reason, unless Billy Gunn's really going to retire after one more match, for them to lose for a third time in this particular case. So I do see the Acclaim winning this, and that's actually going to be my pick for this one as well. Next, we have the AEW Tag Team Championship match. It is going to be FTR going up against the Young Bucks. In the terms of a series, they've had two matches so far. They are 1-1. The way that they've been kind of playing this off, at least on TV, as FTR has been saving the Young Bucks recently from bad situations, everything like that. And they explain it on Wednesdays, like it's nothing more than us making sure that you're at 100% going in there, so there's no questions after the third match between the two of them, or between the two teams. And, the way that the Young Bucks even came off in their promo, they came off as being the ones being more heelish. Now, it's going to be an interesting aspect of how real life stuff kind of plays with this match. Not like what will happen in the match itself, but like in the terms of a result in the match. Obviously, FTR is able to make their way out there. We all know what happened with the arrest of Cash Wheeler at this point, but he's still going to be able to make the show, and they're going to have the match. Now, it depends on how much AEW knew beforehand, knows where everything was going to begin with, down the line. But in terms of this match itself, it's going to be, I think it's going to be a really good match, obviously, in that sense. I thought their second match was a really good one, better than their first to begin with. And I feel like this is going to be the big blow-off match between the two teams. And oddly enough, even with the stuff that's happening, like backstage and with the arrest and everything to go along with that, oddly enough, I'm going with FTR in this match. I don't think they're taking those tag titles off of them quite yet at this time. I could be completely wrong with that, but I don't think they're taking those tag titles off of them. And it will be interesting to see where they go with everything down the line here with FTR and what happens with the Young Bucks after the match and everything to go along with it as well. But in terms of a show stealing match, I feel like this could definitely be one of those matches on this particular show. And up next is going to be the Stadium Stampede match. So this isn't going to be like the other Stadium Stampede matches, where those matches were more cinematic affairs. There were more cinematic matches inside of the stadium with those two particular matches for the Double or Nothing shows. Now, that did lead to something for the Double or Nothing shows because they had done something like that the first two times that, since AEW had been on television. So that led to the Anarchy in the Arena matches. Now, that's what I feel like the Stadium Stampede is going to be here. And of course, it is going to be Eddie Kingston teaming up with Penta, also teaming up with Orange Cassidy and the Best Friends. They're going up against the Blackpool Combat Club, and Santana and Ortiz are back teaming up with them as well. Santana and Ortiz both came back on Wednesday night to team up with the Blackpool Combat Club, stopping Eddie Kingston and Penta from saving Rey Fenix, who is now injured. It was originally going to be a 6-on-6 match. Now it's going to be a 5-on-5 match. And I anticipate that this match is going to be, and they call it Stadium Stampede, and it's not going to be like your Battle Royal version on AEW Fight Forever. And it's probably not going to be like the cinematic matches that that we had seen back in 2020 and 2021. I feel like this is going to be more like Anarchy in the Arena with those, where everybody's going to be kind of everywhere. To go along with it. I don't know if they're going to continue on with the whole tradition of playing the music the entire time until somebody cuts off the music, but it'll be interesting to see where they go with that. In the terms of who I feel like is going to win this one, Santana and Ortiz just came back, and they're teaming up with the Blackpool Combat Club here, and I feel like I've got to go with them on this one. They did end up losing the Anarchy in the Arena match, or actually they didn't. They won against Kenny Omega and the Elite in the Anarchy and Arena match, but I feel like they'll win the Stadium Stampede to go along with it here, mainly due to the returns of Santana and Ortiz. I don't see them wanting to give them a loss right away, especially if they're going to be teaming up right afterwards. I know there's backstage reports saying that they had a huge falling out, everything to go along with that. I know Ortiz, or not Ortiz, but Santana had been out for a year with an ACL injury. But if they're going to continue teaming up, I don't see them, taking a loss right away. And up next is going to be the AEW Women's Championship match. It is going to be Hikaru Shida going up against Toni Storm, up against Saraya and Britt Baker. This is going to probably be a very fun Fatal 4-Way match. I'm going to be straight up with that. I know the booking of the AEW Women's Division has not been great by any stretch of the imagination, though they have been putting on some pretty good matches in main events as of late. That doesn't necessarily mean that the booking's any better at this point in time. That's just my own personal opinion on it. Now, they do have some stuff that they could end up doing here in this particular one. You do see Toni Storm having some character development in terms of, since she lost that title to Shida, she's becoming a little bit more unhinged week by week by week. And they could end up doing a couple of different things here. They could have Saraya win the title, sending Toni Storm even more into that. Or maybe they cost you. I feel like there's going to be a thing where Toni Storm kind of loses it with the Outcast with this particular match. You could have Saraya win, or they could, end out costing each other the title in this particular one. I think what's going to end up happening here, because I'm not seeing them, taking that title off of Toni Storm and putting it on Hikaru Shida. and having her just be a transitional champion to somebody else in this fatal four-way, I feel like they're going to keep that title on Shida, and I'm actually going to make that as my prediction here. I think Hikaru Shida wins this match. Uh, whether it's by like Saraya and Toni Storm not being able to get along or anything to go along with that, it's hard to say where they're going to go with everything. But I don't see them putting that title on her and end out having her be a transitional champion this time around. So in this particular case, I am going to go with Hikaru Shida for this match, and she's going to keep the AEW Women's Championship. And up next is going to be Will Ospreay going up against Chris Jericho. No titles on the line for this one or anything to go along with it. This has been basically set up as the end game, or basically the ending of the Don Callis Chris Jericho storyline. Don Callis has been trying to get Chris Jericho to show up, or not show up, but be part of the Don Callis family. And it led up to pretty much everything that was almost like a Festival of Friendship bit from before, where, they were going to say it in the ring, or, Chris Jericho was going to say whether he's going to be in or out inside the ring. And he said that he was going to join the Don Callis family until he saw the picture that that Don Callis had actually had made, which was basically Don Callis holding Chris Jericho's head up high, which eventually led, obviously, to Jericho wasn't going to join, and he got attacked by Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay also cut a very good promo on Wednesday to go along with everything. This is going to probably be... It's not the match people were thinking when they were going to get Will Ospreay on this particular show. I think they were thinking of somebody else going into this one. But I still feel like this is going to be a fun match. This is not a thing where I see Chris Jericho picking up the victory, though he hasn't really been in control of the story for the vast majority of it. I do see him putting over Will Ospreay in this particular match. And that's actually going to be my pick to go along with that as well. I am going to be going with Will Ospreay to win this match. I do think it's going to be a rather good one. So we'll see what ends out happening. We'll see what ends out happening on Sunday. And up next, it is going to be for what is called the Real World's Championship. It's going to be CM Punk going up against Samoa Joe. Now, during the Owen Hart Invitational Tournament, they had this match once with CM Punk and Samoa Joe. Now, obviously, they've had this match before in the independent scene, early on in their careers. And in this, in the Owen Hart tournament, they actually had CM Punk beat Samoa Joe, which was oddly enough going to be the first, or oddly enough, was the first time that CM Punk was ever able to defeat Samoa Joe in a match. And this is going to be an interesting one to see where they go with everything. I liked how they've set it up on Collision, where Joe has pretty much been challenging CM Punk, and then eventually Punk just accepted the challenge after basically almost a setup match for Samoa Joe. Turned out CM Punk was actually the opponent dressed as someone else at the time. I do see CM Punk keeping the championship here. This is going to be one of those areas that you technically have two world titles. You have the champion who never lost it, and then you have the person who is basically the champion while he's been out injured. I feel like there's going to be some form of unification match that's going to happen somewhere down the line, and I feel like CM Punk's going to be a part of that match. So I'm going to go with CM Punk to pick up the victory here. He's going to keep that championship and defeat Samoa Joe once again. And now we have made it to the main event of the night. It is going to be for the AEW Championship. It's going to be MJF going up against Adam Cole, and And the storyline that they've told here with this one, with the whole setup with the blind eliminator, everything from their original match that they have that went to a time limit draw. Also, like I said, with the blind eliminator tag team tournament, where it seemed like it's like, okay, we'll just play along until this ends, and then it's like, oh, they're becoming. And it seems like that they're becoming good friends and everything to go along with that. The segments that they've done have been actually fantastic. And of course, leading into tensions going into the championship match for the AEW championship. It's going to be an interesting thing to see what they do with this particular one. I see, and I also do see the Kingdom kind of playing a hand in this particular match. They could play it off where neither one actually turns on each other. It's just a match and there's a winner. Or MJF can turn on Cole. Or Cole could turn on MJF. And obviously, like I said before, those turns do happen here. I see the Kingdom playing a hand in that, especially with the aspects of Roderick Strong and with Matt Taven and Mike Bennett along with that. It's going to be interesting to see where they go with everything in this particular one. I can't even really say where they're really going with it because it's really hard to say where they're going with everything in this one. Now, in the terms of making the prediction itself, I may mention to it in the last match with CM Punk and Samoa Joe. There's probably going to be some kind of title unification match coming down the line, and I'll just run through the possibilities here, and like the ones that I would not have seen being that possibility. So I couldn't see it being Samoa Joe versus Adam Cole, being the title unification match. I wouldn't see it being CM Punk versus Adam Cole as well for that title unification match, at least in terms of story with everything. You just don't really have anything there to go along with that. As well as I don't really see it being MJF versus Samoa Joe being that there either. Like, the storylines just don't make sense for those particular matchup combinations to being the title unification. Which is what I feel like is coming down the line here. Whether it happens at All Out or if it happens at a different show, who knows? But I do see it being CM Punk versus MJF. So whether there's a heel turn in this particular match or not, I'm going with MJF to keep the AEW championship and actually winning this match as well. They could do a completely different swerve to go along with it. I've heard that particular one out there, so it'd be interesting if they went that route, and it would leave an aspect for Adam Cole to win, is that he didn't really read the contract. And it was that, and then it's like revealed after the match that it was like, this was just a match. It wasn't for the championship. But I don't think they're going to go that route. At least that's not how I feel like they're going to go. I feel like that would be a massive letdown, especially to a big stadium show like that. So I anticipate it being either the heel turn or like the turn on either side happens on this show, which they've been playing it up pretty hard that it's Adam Cole that's going to be turning in some way, shape, or form. Or it's just a one-on-one match where there's just a clean winner. Or maybe someone cheats to win to go along with it. But it'll be hard to really say where they really go with this one. I'm going to go with MJF to pick up the victory here, but I'm not 100% confident on that one. So that's basically everything I have for the AEW All In show. If you did like this prediction show, feel free to like, subscribe, share the video if you so wish. I know this was a little bit late to go along with it. I'm hoping to have it up a little bit later tonight before Sunday. If not, I'll have it up like super early Sunday morning before the pay-per-view actually goes on air. But yeah, with that being said, I hope everybody takes care, stay safe, stay healthy, and have a great rest of your day.